All right, we are live. Who that, everybody? My name is Tracy Bartholomew. This is Stephen Bijou, and you are listening to the Saint Stop podcast and watching because we on YouTube. What's up,
That's right.
Steve?
Oh man, I'm good, man. What's going on with you?
Oh, not much, man. We are gonna first Saints podcast slash YouTube stream. And we talking about free agency, man.
Yeah, man. This is about to be one of the wildest free agencies we've ever seen. I mean, probably in any sport. There's never been this many marquee names on the move. You just don't see it. You know what I mean? Whether it be for cap reasons, whether it be for, just guys not fitting schemes anymore, new coaches, new owners. It's crazy.
It is. It's definitely crazy. It's a lot of people being moved around, man. A lot of people being picked up and dropped off. Um,
I mean,
yeah,
bro,
I
we're,
don't.
we're, we're seeing trades already, and free agency hasn't even started yet.
Right. And there's been a couple of big names that's been dropped off, man. And I was like, he kind of made your team better. So what are you gonna do now? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, with the free agency, man, where you want to start at?
Well, let's start with everybody's favorite position, quarterbacks. You know what I
The
mean?
QBs, definitely. Man, let's talk about Teddy B. You know, because he's one of the biggest free agencies when it comes down to quarterbacks. You know, dealing with the Saints that we had to do in a long time or deal with in a long time. Um, what do you think about keeping them? What are you thinking about trading them? And if you keep him, do you think he's going to sit behind Drew Brees for the next 1, maybe 2 years and be happy with it? Or do you think he's ready to be traded off to somebody else?
So there's a couple of ways this can go. Everyone's assuming Teddy B is out the door, right? I mean, and in conventional wisdom would tell you they can't keep everybody, and that's true. Um, but I can see a different scenario playing out, right? We all know Breeze is going to get this 1 year deal. He's not going to sign for any more than that. At this point in his career, he's taking one step at a time.
Right.
So we do have a franchise tag. Now, knowing Mickey Loomis, there's a lot of guys we need to sign, pretty much our whole defense, but also there's a lot of guys that I would be willing to let walk. To name a
Okay.
few, Marcus Williams, Eli Apple, most of that secondary can go, right?
Right. No, I definitely feel you on that one, man. There's a couple of guys back there too, especially Eli Apple. And I've been a big fan of Eli Apple's. I've advocated for him the whole season. Like you're getting
Nah.
better, man. You're getting better. You're definitely
And
holding
man,
your
look
position
for a
down.
dude that's supposed to be a first round pick. His flaw is mental. The first play goes well, he'll be pretty much balling the rest of the game. The first play doesn't go so well, he's going to be missing tackles left and right. He's going to be getting beaten coverage. Just don't need that, right? I mean, look, when guys like Ryan Tannehill can pick on Eli Apple, that's a problem, right?
Right.
So, guys like that, I would let walk. I would let Andres Pete walk. He's hurt too much. You know what I mean? There's no consistencies there. Matter of fact, when we put it in the backups, like Patrick Omame, he does pretty good. So,
Yeah.
and plus, there'll be a lot of guys in free agency and in the draft. This draft is particularly deep in wide receivers, offensive line, like it's pass rusher. Those three positions are really deep in this draft. So I wouldn't be afraid. And, we picked up a rookie before in the second round, Eric McCoy. He turned out to be a stud in the middle. So
True. True.
it's not like we haven't been able to do it before. So with that said, I'm letting a few guys walk, working this money the way that we know Mickey Loomis can. And here's something that people aren't talking about.
Okay.
If Breeze is willing, because at this point the man's made his money, right? He's made a lot of money. He's made a lot of businesses down in New Orleans. The dude's set. If he could take a little bit less, like instead of giving him 1 year 30, we give him like 1 year 20 or 1 year 25, right? To save us
Okay.
a little wiggle room. Then what you do now is franchise tag Teddy B, right? Now,
Hmm.
I know a lot of people was like, what? That's retarded. Why would you do that? because honestly, I do not think that they believe Taysom Hill is the heir apparent. I think, as a matter of fact, I don't think Drew Brees was ever going to retire. I think that's smoke and mirrors. To gas up one guy, you have to create the facade that he can be the guy, right? But you can't do that if Drew Brees is sitting there. So they created this whole, he's going to retire story so that they can gas up Taysom. So whoever is dumb enough to offer us a first round pick, thank you. You can have him, right? Now, when it comes to Teddy B, it's a win-win situation. If Brees takes a little bit of a pay cut, what you do is you either tag Teddy B and he stays. So now if Brees retires next year, we got a guy, or we tag and trade him. Even if someone's willing to give a second round pick, you do that, right? So now you have, if someone takes Taysom and you're able to trade Teddy, you have now an extra first and a second that we don't have. And as deep as this draft class is, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And with 2 first round picks, you either move up or just stay wherever the pick is and make your pick and add some more tools for Brees to work with. I mean, we are in the final push, right? This is literally the final window for Drew Brees in this particular offense. So, you can add a lot around him. I think one thing that we need is a running back. I love Alvin Kamara. We know what his skill set is, but he just ain't that dog. He's not that dude that's going to, that ground and pound type dude. You know what I'm saying? We need that thumper. That's something that we don't have. And I think, especially at this stage in his career, Drew Brees, with his arm the way that it is, you have to get him a running game. I mean, most of our successful seasons are when we have top running games. So, I think that's the way to go, man. And I think, nobody's looking at that, but Sean Payton out here playing chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? So
Miss Patricia Walker said we need Drew Brees and Teddy. She's not trying to get rid of nobody right now.
I mean, hey, look. So the thing about that too is, like I said, we tag him. It's a win-win. That is very possible. But also, there's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. The obvious ones, your Tuas, your Joe Burrows, even your Justin Herberts. But there's guys like, Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love, or, Easton's coming up in the draft. He did very well at the combine. We could draft a young guy and not wait to the 3rd, 4th round like we have in previous years. Get some of these guys in the, if we get that 2nd round pick and we get an extra first, get a guy in the 2nd round, right? Have him sit under Brees. I mean, you may be able to find your Patrick Mahomes. We was this close to drafting him before the Chiefs jumped us. So clearly the Saints and the staff know how to evaluate quarterbacks. And so this is something that we could possibly do to move towards the future, because yes, Teddy Bridgewater is a very stable guy, but watching him, he hasn't really, and I don't know if it's because they didn't open the playbook to him all the way, but it was basically whatever they called, that's what he was going with. The offense was, very steady, 5 yards here, 4 yards here, but it wasn't dynamic. When Drew came back, there was a clear difference. How the bigger plays opened up, even with the lack of arm strength that he has now. What they're doing now, instead of Drew forcing it, they're designing the plays to be open. So with that being said, if you can get a younger guy and also get some assets in return for Teddy B and Taysom, I think that's a win-win.
So who do you go get in the draft? Quarterback-wise? Because it's an obvious decision that we need somebody.
It honestly, bro, it all depends. It depends on, again, if we can get that extra first, if we can move up. Let's say for discussion's sake, we stay at 24. If we're staying at 24, I'm not getting a quarterback in the 1st round, right? I'm waiting to the 2nd, if that, because you want to get as many tools for Drew as possible. And, there's so many free agents that we can't rule out that they get somebody in free agency, right? I mean, your favorite player, Andy Dalton, is out there. He could be a backup.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to see Andy Dalton in the Saints jersey. But so I mean, outside of draft, and we're gonna go back to that because you said your first round be a quarterback.
Yeah.
If we stay at 24, so in free agency, who do you pick up?
There's a lot of guys that are going to get paid that shouldn't. If we let Taysom and Teddy walk for whatever reasons, I could see a guy like Tannehill being serviceable as a backup. Like we just mentioned, Andy Dalton, or Derek Carr could be on the move, depending on what the Raiders do. I would love to have Derek Carr in the Saints jersey. I think he just doesn't have enough tools in Oakland or now Vegas to do anything successful. That offensive line is horrible. They thought they were going to have Antonio Brown. That didn't work out. They do have Josh Jacobs at running back, but they don't have a lot of tools. So I think a guy like Derek Carr could come in and possibly with the tools we have, with the offensive line we have, with the weapons we have, and the weapons that I know we're going to get, because wide receiver is definitely a problem, but we'll talk about that later. Right. It's an upgrade from where he's at now, so I think he could be successful in that manner. So, I mean, there's a couple of guys, but nobody that I would overpay for.
Derek Carr, I gotta disagree with you right there. I don't want to see Derek Carr in a Saints uniform ever. I don't even want to see him on the same field with the Saints, man, to tell you the truth.
Hey, man, hey, don't disrespect Derek Carr, man. That man got more game than people think.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it yet. All right, so you said you wouldn't pick up a new quarterback in the first round with the 24th pick. So who do you pick up?
Man, so there's so many guys. I mean, we desperately, depending on what goes on in free agency, even if we pick up a wide receiver in free agency, I think we need to go ahead and draft one. So if a guy like Justin Jefferson is sitting there at 24, you go get him.
Mm-hmm.
On the defensive side of things, this guy should go top 10, but because of his unique skill set, I could see him falling because people wouldn't know what to do with him. Isaiah Simmons, that guy can play pretty much any defensive position. You can line him up and use him as a chess piece anywhere. I liken him to the Honey Badger. That's the kind of ball skill set that he has, and we could definitely use a guy like that, especially at safety, because I would let all of our safeties walk. Marcus Williams can walk. If Von Bell could, for a reasonable price, I keep him. But him and C.J. Gardner-Johnson are basically the same player, so get rid of them. I'm not overpaying for Von Bell. So yeah, I would definitely pick one of those two guys if they're sitting there at 24.
Okay, I hear you. I definitely agree with you when it comes down to Von Bell and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson is, I wouldn't say so much of a upgrade, but a very good substitution for Von Bell. When you watch the guy play, he's always around the ball. He gets his tackles, even in the open field. So I mean, he's a great all-around football player. And if you need to release some money somewhere,
yeah,
I think that would be a good place to do it.
I mean, yeah, as far as the secondary goes too, if we can retain Janoris Jenkins, I think that would be a great move. There's only a couple of players in the draft that I would be willing to trade up for. Clearly one of those guys is Joe Burrow. Yeah, that guy's going to be a franchise player somewhere for some team. A lot of people assume it's the number one pick. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Jeff Okudah from Ohio State, pairing him up with Marshawn Lattimore, that'd be a beast defensive back. Stable. A 1-2 punch that I don't think anybody would be able to throw on. And Chase Young, of course, the pass rusher from Ohio State. That dude's a monster. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are saying he's better than Nick and Joey Bosa. And having a guy like that with Cam Jordan, that would be crazy, because Marcus Davenport, yes, we traded up for him, but he hasn't really turned out to be what we expected him to be. And neither has Rankins. When Rankins is healthy, he's doing really good, but he just can't stay on the field. And that's the same thing for
right.
Marcus Davenport. We need guys that are stable.
I definitely agree. So let's get back to the quarterbacks a little bit here, man. We talked about Teddy B. What do you think about Dak Prescott and his whole situation with the Cowgirls? And what do you think? Do you think he's gonna stay, or do you think he's gonna go? You think he's gonna ask for the money that he's asking for? Is for him, I think, is a tremendous amount of money for who he is and what he's produced during his career. So who do you see him going to, if anywhere? Or do you think the Cowboys are just gonna be like, yeah, whatever you want, man, just come on and I'll give it to you?
I mean, they're definitely not going to do that, because Jerry Jones is not about that life. But if the rumor report is true and what they're offering him, $33 a year, $105 guaranteed, I'd have signed that contract yesterday. And the reason I'm saying is, dude, you're a 4th-round pick. You've basically made minimum wage up until this point. So I get it. You want to be paid what you're owed. I get that. However, you have one playoff win in your entire tenure. So let's not act like you're Patrick Mahomes and you won the Super Bowl or even got to the Super Bowl the year before. You know what I'm saying? Like Patrick Mahomes definitely earned whatever he's about to get. If they're giving this man 40 a year, then damn it, that's what he's going to get and that's what he deserves, right? If I'm the Chiefs, I'm paying this guy whatever. Dak Prescott, first of all, you haven't really made any real money. So 33 a year, which honestly, if he signs that contract at this point, will be the richest contract in NFL history, especially with the guaranteed money. So he definitely should have gone ahead and signed that by now. I don't think he earned or deserves what he's asking for if it's more than 33 a year. Especially with that 105 guaranteed, bro. Like with that kind of money, you good. Like I don't understand the difference of what you're asking for. Now I get it. Go ahead, get your money, right? But he's not that kind of player. Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott is a little bit better than Mark Sanchez, right? And what I mean by that is when Mark Sanchez was with the Jets, in them 2 years they went to the AFC title game. I think it was like 2009, 2010. They had that like top defense, and they had LaDainian Tomlinson to lean on, right? But then when all of that disappeared, look what happened to Mark Sanchez. Dak Prescott, the same thing. With no Ezekiel Elliott, when your defense is down, he couldn't, until Amari Cooper came in, he couldn't do anything. So, to me, I don't think he's worth the money. But the Cowboys are going to pay him, and if they don't, they're going to franchise tag him because they're not just going to let him walk. And honestly, I don't think they have a better option. Even with all these quarterbacks that are in the free agency market right now, I think he's the best fit for them because of whatever system they're running. Now, they do have a new head coach in Mike McCoy. He's going to come in and try to run his system. And I think that's why they're not in a rush to pay him. They want to see if these two are going to gel together. Because, you know, when head coaches come in, they like to have their guy. He didn't draft Dak Prescott. So he's not attached to him. Now, if he could come in and run his system, then okay, you can have his contract. But I think what might end up happening is they franchise him for this year, and he'll have to play on a franchise tag. If not, well, they'll run with whoever is their backup. Which, honestly, I think is Mark Sanchez. Isn't he their backup?
Is it? I really couldn't even tell you. I really couldn't even tell you who the Cowboys' backup is. Just because they show no faith outside of Dak Prescott. That's why I really think he stays.
That's the one thing that I could say about Dak Prescott. He's consistent, right? He's played in almost every game, if not every game. So he doesn't get hurt that often. So okay, for that, you deserve a little bit of money, right? But you know, I'm not paying you like Patrick Mahomes. You're out of your mind. Have you won a Super Bowl? Have you been to an NFC title game? No, you haven't. So let's not get crazy. Like there's this trend in the NFL, like the next guy to get paid gets paid the most. But honestly, it shouldn't be that way. It should be, what have you done? Okay, well, this is what you're getting paid. You know what I mean?
What have you done for me lately type thing.
Right. And if you want that money, then I would make his contract super incentive based. Like if you get to the NFC title game, you get this extra mil. If we get to the Super Bowl, you get this. If you know what I mean? And it has to be based on wins, not yards. Because as we saw, Jameis Winston threw 5,000 yards. And look what happened to the Bucs. So I don't want statistical incentives. I want wins and losses incentives in his contract if you're offering that kind of money.
Right. Okay. Well, let's say that and the Cowboys don't work it out. Where do you see him going? If anywhere.
I mean, it kind of all depends. I'll just pick random teams. You know, it depends on how free agency shakes out, how the draft shakes out. However, teams that I could see him making a fit, maybe Indianapolis. I could see him going there.
I see. I definitely agree with that one. That was one of my places. I automatically came to my mind when I thought Dak might go somewhere else, just because how long the conversation has been going on between the contracts. You know, he's got, the Colts have T.Y. Hilton, Cowboys have Amari Cooper,
same player basically.
Yeah. So I mean, why not?
Or
I could see him fitting in.
I could see him going to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh doesn't, Ben Roethlisberger is on his way out. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery, which is unheard of for a quarterback. That's usually reserved for baseball players.
Right.
I can see him going to Pittsburgh. He'll be stable. I think Mike Tomlin could use him to the best of his capabilities. In that division with Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, and whoever the Bengals quarterback is going to be, because I don't think it's going to be Joe Burrow. But yeah,
I don't know why.
I
don't know why you think the Bengals are going to pass up on Joe Burrow.
I don't think necessarily that it's so much they're going to pass up on Joe Burrow. I think it's okay. So you're the Cincinnati Bengals. You're in the division, like I mentioned, with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, right? They see how these quarterbacks operate, especially Lamar Jackson, with that option offense that they have, him being mobile. Joe Burrow's not a mobile quarterback. Now he can get out of some tough spots, but his mobility is more like Ben Roethlisberger. You know what I mean? Like he could shrug you off. He's not going to run for 15, 20 yards though. That's not what he's doing. But a guy coming in the draft that can do that, Tua Tagovailoa. Now, if his medical checks out and he's healthy and ready to go, and they see that it won't be a problem going forward, I can totally see them taking Tua at number one, because before Joe Burrow had this season that he had last year, that is what everyone thought. Tua was the clear-cut number one pick. They had Joe Burrow projected to go 4th round before he had this season. So, yeah, I can see the Bengals. It's a copycat league, man. They want a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, go get Tua and compete in that division. I could totally see it. And if that happens, there's a lot of interesting things that can go forward in the draft, especially considering, number 2, the Redskins. Now, Dan Snyder, he's the one who picked Dwayne Haskins, basically, because I believe he grew up with his son or something. Rumor is the coaches don't want him. But what the owner wants, the owner gets. Now, they can go ahead and select Tua and have a quarterback competition, but then you got 2 quarterbacks on first-round contracts. That's not going to work. So I don't think that happens. I think they go Chase Young, right? And then number 3, the Lions, if they trade Matt Stafford, which they say they're not, but, these teams lie a lot. They always say, oh, he's not up for trade, and then 2 days later, he's gone. If they trade him, I can see Joe Burrow falling to Detroit. Now, is that a good situation for Joe Burrow? No, but I can see it happening.
Okay. I mean, I don't see anything outside of Bengals picking up Joe Burrow. I mean, I'm sorry. I really think that'd be
you're just a Bengals enthusiast.
I really am, though. I really am. But I just think it would be the dumbest thing in the world to pass up on the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback when you obviously need a quarterback. When you obviously have had decades of losing seasons. And to have AJ Green, which you're trying to franchise tag right now, to have a wide receiver of his caliber being thrown to by Joe Burrow, I just don't see why you would choose anything else.
I don't think that is necessarily the quarterback's fault for why the Bengals are trash. I think that's definitely the owner. You let any of these players that have played with the Bengals, Ocho Cinco, Carson Palmer, any of them, they'll tell you they are a cheap organization. They are only there to make money, not to win. So they don't really invest.
Well, they don't have no money.
I mean, that's the problem. That's why. So, okay, most of these billionaires that own these teams, right? Their team is not their only source of income. They have, like Jerry Jones with the oil fields and, Shad Khan, the dude invented car bumpers. He's good for life, right? So, but this Mike Brown, the guy that owns the Bengals, his only source of income is the Bengals. So his sole focus is making money. It's not about winning championships or, any of that. He's trying to save on that bottom line as much as possible. And for that very reason is why the Bengals are unsuccessful.
Yeah. I mean, maybe so. Or maybe just the team is
hey, let me throw you a wrinkle, though. Let me throw you a wrinkle. Now, I get it. Now, this is very highly unlikely. However, again, I mentioned the mobile quarterback thing in the AFC North. What if the Bengals see a Taysom Hill and is like, you know what? We'll give you a 2nd-round pick. I'm taking it. Why? Because it's the first pick of the 2nd round. I'm taking that all day. If the Bengals call the Saints and say, hey, we'll give you our 2nd-round pick for Taysom Hill. Bet. Do that.
2nd-round pick for Taysom Hill.
Yeah, but it's the first pick of the 2nd round. So, it's
right.
That's a high pick. I'm taking that all day.
It definitely is. Jeez, man, I don't know, bro. Like I just to give up a player of that kind of dynamic, it's
Here's
just
what
I
here's what a lot of people have misconstrued, right? Yes, Taysom Hill is a fantastic athlete. Yes, he can play
right.
special teams, he can play running back, he can every position. He could probably punt if we needed him to. Okay, but at quarterback, and this is something that you need to watch. Go back to his college tape. He got injured every single year, and not just a couple of weeks, like season-ending injuries, 5 years in a row, because he got an extra medical redshirt year.
Okay, but how many times have he been hurt on the Saints since he's been with us?
Okay, but you have to also understand he's only on the field for maybe 15 plays at the most. If you're on the field every snap, you're on the play for 50, 60 plays, right? Your chances of getting injured go up significantly. So, and also, he's only got 11 passes in his whole career. He's only thrown the ball 11 times as a quarterback. So, you can't really say, oh, he has good vision or yes, he has an arm. We know that. Yes, he's athletic. But can he read defenses? Can he get out of trouble? Probably because he has speed. But is he accurate? His best year in college was like 59%. That's Tim Tebow numbers. You know what I mean? Like that's and I'm just being realistic about it. If we keep him at the position that he's at now and like use him as an X factor, great. But as a franchise quarterback, I'm not sold.
Well, I agree with you. Nobody really knows a lot about Taysom Hill just due to the amount of time, amount of snaps he's had on the field. Um, but when he is on the field, he's a dynamic player. You calling a guy basically fragile, but he trucks players. He runs for 15, 20 yards down the field. He doesn't go out of bounds. He's running over dudes.
But see, hey, okay, now if you paying him 25, 30 million a year, do you want him doing that? Absolutely not. He's not going. That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely not.
Even
But I
even if
mean
he's not
that's part of
fragile,
his
right?
game, though. And do
But
you
that's the
change a
point.
player like that?
Yes, because if I'm paying you 100 whatever million, if I'm giving you 30 million a year, I'm gonna need you to chill out. I'm gonna need you to chill out because you get hurt now. What? We back to square one. We losing because I mean we're not keeping both of them. We're not keeping Teddy and Taysom. That's not gonna happen. So now whoever we got as a backup is in. We're paying you all this money, and because you don't know how to slide or run out of bounds, you taking unnecessary hits. You can do that now because you're trying to make a name for yourself and you're that X factor. You basically are like number 40 on the depth chart, right? As far as guys that we have to have on the team. So you can do that. You can afford to do that to make a name for yourself. Mm-hmm. But special teams, you ain't doing that no more. You're not returning kicks. You're not on punt returns. You're not blocking punts. You're not running over dudes. We're not putting you at running back. We're not doing none of that with you. Like, all that goes out the window. So the player that we love him for, he's not going to be that player no more. That's my point. Because we cannot afford for you to go out there and try to do that and then get hurt.
Right. And then if he does get hurt, like, who do you have behind Taysom Hill?
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
We're going to end up with Marcus Mariota as our backup. He's going to be the starter. Like, that's what's going to happen. Because if you get a guy like Taysom Hill as your franchise quarterback, you got to have a guy with a similar skill set. Someone who can run the option, who could do X, Y, Z. We might end up with RG3 as the backup. You know what I'm saying? So now we rocking with this dude as our starter because you're hurt.
Marcus Mariota is ready to be a starter on any team, man. or at least a great backup quarterback. Another Teddy Bridgewater. That is a great backup quarterback that could start.
Don't disrespect Teddy Bridgewater like that. Don't do that. That was disrespectful. Don't compare
with me right now, bro.
Don't compare him to Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota is trash. I never liked Mariota even coming out of Oregon. Like, that was not. He's not that guy. I never saw him as that guy. He doesn't have the accuracy for one. Yes, he's fast, but that's about it. Like, his decision making sucks. His accuracy is not all that. He has a good arm, not a great arm. As far as backups, yeah, he's a backup. Maybe I would compare him more to Nick Foles, not Teddy Bridgewater.
Nick Foles, playoff Foles,
bro. Man. First of all, we're not doing this. We are not doing this. Nick Foles,
playoff Foles, man. Bro, stop playing with me right now, boy.
Anybody who's ever listened to our podcast or ever heard me talk about this topic know that I have said Nick Foles is a 5 to 7 game quarterback. That is all he can get you. It's all we've ever seen him do. Even when he won the Super Bowl, what happened? He came in at the end, played like 6, 7 games, won the Super Bowl. That's great. That's his role. Playing 16 now, adding, if the CBA go through a 17th game, then, another playoff game if you're not the 1 seed, because they're talking about making the 2 seed play wild card weekend too. So that's 2 more games on top of that. Nick Foles ain't built for that. He's not. And if he was,
win games, man.
explain to me why he's been on the Rams, the Chiefs, the Eagles twice, the Jaguars now. Come on, if he was as cold as you say you were, you wouldn't be on all these teams. Plain and simple.
Anyway, I'm not gonna get into it with you because you already know how I feel, and I know you are very much of a Nick Foles, playoff Foles hater. So we're gonna get off of that, man. Another big quarterback name that's been walking around, being dabbled in people's ears is Tom Brady. Man, personally, man, I don't see Tom Brady leaving the Patriots, regardless of what people think or what Tom Brady thinks himself. He ain't leaving the Patriots.
He might.
I doubt it.
I can almost guarantee this, though. I can guarantee you this. Whether he stays on the Patriots, whether he goes to a new team, Tom Brady will not win another Super Bowl. And he will not be successful. I can almost guarantee this, too. He's not leaving the AFC. He will not sign with an NFC team. He's not about that life.
Man, I think a perfect fit for Tom Brady, if he was to go somewhere, which he ain't, he's staying with the Patriots. The Patriots ain't gonna let him go. He's gonna retire as a Patriot, and if not, the Patriots fan is gonna be heated at this guy. But if he does go anywhere or was to go anywhere, perfect fit for him, I would see with the Chargers. The Chargers are building their team up. Or have been building their team up to be a Super Bowl caliber team, and I think he fits in with that scheme perfectly.
Now, here's the only problem I have with that is you're in the same division as Patrick Mahomes. So again, yes, you'll be successful, but you will not get past the Chiefs. For one, we've already seen the decline in Brady, right? And it's wild, bro. Like if you listen, the stories and the narrative that they put out there about this guy is absolutely insane. He's supposed to be the GOAT, but he needs help, right?
Supposed to be.
He's supposed to be the GOAT, right? And first of all, and I'm sorry for anybody who's ever heard this already, but just let me do my spiel real quick. Tom Brady is not the GOAT of anything. Tom Brady is not the greatest of all time. He may be the GOAT at cheating. That's about it. Bro, that is about it. I don't care. Like, football is a team sport, for one. So you can't be like, oh, he's got 6 rings. It's not like basketball. Basketball, you could do that. You could say, oh, this one guy made a difference. Because it's true.
Right.
We've seen the Cavaliers when LeBron on it, and we've seen the Cavaliers as soon as he left with the same dudes minus LeBron, right? They were trash. Now, you have Tom Brady, on the other hand, that 4 of your 6 Super Bowls, for one, you've been caught cheating. And this is not opinion. This is facts. You've been caught cheating and fined and suspended or, something of some degree in some shape or form, right? That's number one. Number two, you play in the AFC East with the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets, who have been historically bad for decades. And not just because you're in their division, right? All these divisions, one year you might see the Chargers good, the next year you might see the Chiefs good, then you might see the Broncos for the AFC. You might see the Ravens one year, you might see the Steelers. And even in our own division, you might see us pop off, the Falcons might be good, or it may be the Panthers. Never the Bucs, right. But that's a whole different story. But 18 out of the last 20 years, the Patriots have won that division. And you can argue, oh, that's just because he's so cold. No, that is not, because there's no competition. Look at the playoff picture for NFC this year. We had 13 wins. We still had to play wild card weekend. The premium on wins has gone up, right? But if you look at the AFC side of things, what the 2 top seeds have, like 11 and 12 wins, maybe, and then like the third had like 10. Like it's completely irrelevant, the competition in the AFC as a whole, and furthermore in the AFC East. You talking about, if you let's just look at quarterbacks, not even look at the whole team, right? Let's not even look at the whole team. We're talking about, let's say, Miami. Who was their quarterback? They had Josh Rosen for a little bit. Then they rock with Matt Moore for a little bit. They had no idea. Then the Jets have Donald, right? Or what's dude's name from USC? Man, you know what I'm talking about. They drafted the dude Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. They had Sam Darnold, but I don't trust USC quarterbacks. Name one USC quarterback that's been successful other than Carson Palmer, and he was mildly successful. He never got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So like, you can't anoint this man the GOAT. But then Drew Brees gets all this disrespect, but he's got every passing record in the NFL, number one all time in every category: completion percentage, completions in the game, yards in the game, yards in the season, all-time touchdowns, all-time yards in the career. This man got all that and a Super Bowl ring, but they disrespect this man because he played for the Saints. If he did the same thing in a Cowboy uniform or a Green Bay uniform or a 49er, yeah, they would have said, "Oh, this man's the GOAT," even without the rings. But you don't even put this man on top 100, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's when it comes down to Drew Brees, man, just because of the city that he plays for, New Orleans. I mean, it's a blatant disrespect. It's a blatant like to have so many accomplishments but not being appreciated for it or acknowledged for it. You know what I mean? Just this year, Drew Brees has been put in a limelight of, so to speak. But years on top of years, this man's done the same thing over and over and over, and they've never given any recognition. They put him in, and this is one of my biggest things when it comes down to the NFL. They put Drew Brees in the same category as Aaron Rodgers, and I for the life of me, man, I don't understand why.
Well,
Aaron Rodgers won one Super Bowl.
Aaron Rodgers like he's better than Drew Brees.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. Like, I need somebody to give me some facts on why. Why is Aaron Rodgers better than Drew Brees?
I just told you. It's because of the uniform. It's because of the uniform that he has on. That's literally the only reason. Because Aaron Rodgers, okay, yeah, they were good this year, right? But they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. And Aaron Rodgers he won his Super Bowl the year after Brees won his. So literally, they have the same resume. Except Aaron Rodgers Drew Brees has done more with less.
Right.
So, like, fans, they know their players, the Marcus Colstons, the Hendersons, the Kenny Steeles of the world, right? But who are these guys? If we're being honest, like, we love them because, like, okay, like, they on our team, we rock with them, right? But who are these? None of them are first-round picks. None of them were highly touted talent. These are guys that we found in the 4th, 5th round, unrestricted free agents. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Colston was a 7th-round pick. Lance Moore, unrestricted free agent. Kenny Steeles was a 5th-round pick. You know, these guys are not known. Even Mike Thomas is a 2nd-round pick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, Kamara, a 3rd-round pick. We just made these guys look good. Even we had Jimmy Graham, a 3rd-round pick. You know what I'm saying?
So speaking about Jimmy Graham, man, there's been a lot of talk about Jimmy Graham coming back to the Saints, man.
No, hell no.
What you mean? Why not? It was because he was talking all that crap when he left.
I mean, hey, that's for one. But for two, what has he done since he's left? And I understand these teams haven't used him in the way that we have, but Brees don't have that arm no more. You know what I'm saying? Now,
well, you don't need the arm to work with Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham ain't no over the top.
He would have to be humble. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't come in my locker room because I will ship you out week 2, just like we did Adrian Peterson. Like I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You have to be humble, and you have to understand that you are not that guy no more. Mike Thomas gonna get his. He's the guy, and you either fall in line or you will retrade you. Plain and simple. If you're going to come back, you need to understand your role. And also understand that you're not the only tight end. Because Jared Cook is just as good as Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
And he's done it more recently. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jimmy Graham hasn't done anything recently.
I don't think Jimmy Graham on Green Bay was a primary target. I think if you were open,
he went to Seattle and was like, "Yeah, I'm 270 pounds. I could block anybody."
Right.
And then first play of the season, Von Miller blew him up.
Right. And he ain't never been the same since.
Yeah, he ain't never been the same since. I mean, just like Marcus Williams, bro, he ain't never been the same since. It only took that one play, and he just faded into non-existence. At one point, Jimmy Graham was considered maybe the best tight end in the game. Now,
yeah, no doubt,
I mean,
no
where does
doubt.
he fall on that list now, bro? He's probably not even in the top 10.
Yeah, I agree, and I think by us picking up Jerry Cook, there's really no need for Jimmy Graham to come back on
I mean,
our
hey,
team.
so I wouldn't say there's no need, right? Because think about I mean, let's look at the Patriots, right? When they had Aaron Hernandez, Gronkowski, that two tight end set. It's crazy, especially knowing that Breeze loves to throw in the middle, right? It could take a lot of pressure off Mike Thomas. It could utilize Kamara more coming out the backfield. It'll be useful. And I think having two tight ends and a monster running back will be the perfect cure for the lack of arm strength that Breeze seems to not have anymore. It'll be the perfect cure. But again, you got to come in and be willing to do your part and not be a diva.
Right. I just think as much crap as this dude talked when he left the Saints team,
Facts.
I really don't want to see him back, man. You know, he had too much to say. If you was a humble dude, like, oh, it just didn't work out, I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to move on and see what else is out there for me. But the disrespect that he had for the team after he left, it was flooring to me, man. So I really don't want to see you back after that kind of talk. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that
I mean,
goes for anybody.
it's
That
not
goes for
like
anybody.
it's not like the same dudes aren't there. Sean Payton's still there. Mickey Loomis still there. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, oh, I could go back now because it's like a new regime. Nah, the same
Right.
dudes you was talking trash about is still sitting in them offices. So
Yeah. And don't think they forgot.
You're not about to get nowhere close to that. You lucky if you get 4.
Yeah, no. We might as well let that conversation go because I don't see that happening. Stay where you at, man. Be garbage. You know what I mean? Be garbage, bro. Let's talk about Jameis Winston, the 30-30 man.
30 for 30.
Mr. 30-30. So I honestly I think the Bucks are done. I think they're done with him. After coming off a year like that, I don't think they want to see him back. I think the head coach was very patient with this guy. Even when you was playing like garbage, we still kept you in. But I mean, who was your backup? So yeah, you really had no choice.
What? I mean, didn't they have? Oh no, he played for Miami. I was saying, didn't they have Ryan Fitzpatrick? Like I would have been put Fitzpatrick in.
No.
I mean, never mind.
So they had no choice.
People say that there's something to work with because he threw for 5,000 yards, but okay, it's just like, RIP Kobe Bryant, right? But that last game where he dropped 60, he shot the ball like 50 times to get 60, right? So yes, he scored 60 points, but he shot the ball 50 times. That's kind of what Jameis Winston did. Yeah, you threw for 5,000 yards, but you threw the ball like 80 times a game. So your stats are kind of askew. And if you were doing that being proficient, just like, people call Drew Brees a stat pattern, but he throws 5,000 yards and his completion percentage is like 70. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he might have like 40 touchdowns to like 9 interceptions. This man had 5,000 yards and went 30 for 30. Like,
so who do you see Jameis Winston going to? Because he's obviously not staying on the Bucks.
Honestly, I'm not paying this man to be my starter. Like, if you're a team that for whatever reason you don't have a surefire starter after free agency, you're not in a position to draft one, okay, then go ahead and get Jameis Winston. But still, I'm not even then, I'm not giving you the keys. Like, you're gonna compete for the starting job. Jameis Winston hasn't done enough to, oh yeah, you're coming in, we're instantly giving you the keys. I like Jameis Winston to like Matt Castle.
What do you think about Jameis Winston going to the Bears over Trubisky? Obvious upgrade, in my opinion.
Upgrade in what?
Obvious upgrade.
Upgrade in a sense of arm strength, sure. Upgrade in a sense of getting you more wins, I don't think so. I mean, he's not. He has an arm strength, but again, this man just threw 30 picks. A lot of quarterbacks take 5 years to throw that many picks. He did it in one season. Like, so if you think, oh, like, yeah, I got LASIK eye surgery, like I can see better. Okay, cool. But if you knew you need a LASIK, bro, you've been in the league 5 years. You should have did this a long time ago. Now all of a sudden you want to blame it on LASIK? Come on, bro.
Well, I think the Bears has a better defense. I think they have a better line than the Bucks. I think that he could actually be of some usage there. Um, I feel him. I mean, the guy's a good quarterback. I mean, he ain't great. He knows how to end plays. He can obviously get out of the pocket, and make some moves. With his legs. I see him fitting in.
I think you got some interference, bro.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, it's like some feedback.
How about now?
Okay. Yeah, that's a little. Yeah, I mean, as far as getting out of pocket, yeah, again, he's strong. I mean, okay, when I think of Jameis Winston, I think of Jamarcus Russell. That's what I think about. Jamarcus Russell had all the tools: strong arm, good pocket presence. He just had no accuracy. Like, this man was literally just throwing the ball and it fell wherever it fell. And that's kind of what I see in Jameis Winston. He's not a premium. I mean, he has enough talent to be in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? I think what would be absolutely hilarious and like a better fit for that guy would probably be the XFL. Go there, compete, show that you defense, you can have a better pocket presence, and then maybe come back.
Right. I think we're gonna leave it at that, man. And we're gonna shut this thing down, and we're gonna be back on a different date, a different time next Wednesday. So my name is Tracy Bartholomew. This is Stephen Bijou, and you are watching the Same Style Podcast.